Today is May 25th. This is, we're talking about the Jones Garden. We're talking now with Floyd Jones. When he was a boy, they used to have at least an acre garden, and I'm going to let him tell you. I wanted to get details on the strategy they used. He talked a little bit about his early garden just now, and I'm wanting to hear about the strategy they used to grow things. You know, did they use fertilizer? Did you use fertilizer?
The only commercial material we used, they had somebody come in with a lime spreader on the back of a truck and spread lime, and the rest of it's done. They always had 2 cows, and they actually used the cow manure for our fertilizer.
And what about the chicken manure?
They use the chicken manure, but the chicken manure has to be very carefully used because it's a very strong material, and you would take the chicken manure and not let it get close to the plant itself. You had to keep the manure away from the plant itself. So you put that out in the hand. You could scatter it, but then they used it like around the tomato plant. If not too often, but if you wanted to use it, then you'd go out about 3 or 4 inches from the plant and put a little circle of chicken manure.
Now, did you fertilize the ground before you planted things at all, or did you just till? Did you till the ground? How did you prepare the ground?
You had a 12-inch bottom plow and 2 plows, double plow, and you just plowed it, and then you disked it down, leveled off the ground.
And your dad always had a plow? I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I know Grandpa, your father, my grandpa, always had a tractor and a plow. But when you were a kid, did he have a tractor?
Yeah, they had a Ford tractor, a little Ford tractor, a 4-cylinder tractor is what they had.
Do you know the year of that tractor? By chance, I mean, that'd be a wild. Okay, do you know the approximate year of the tractor? Like in the 40s, 30s, 20s that it was built?
Well, it's among the first gasoline tractors that were out, and Ford put it together. Ford Ferguson was a company that the Ferguson had the implements and Ford the tractor. But probably in the 30s somewhere.
In the 30s. So he had his own discs. He didn't
have a disc at that time. He just had a harrow that you pull behind the tractor.
Now, what's a harrow mean?
It's a
V-shaped thing?
No, it actually is just a drag unit that that has teeth.
How many teeth?
Well, like the spikes on the spikes on the railroad. You know how the railroad spike is?
Yeah, 6 inch.
There's a 6-inch spike, and then it was mounted on a bar, several bars,
right?
Maybe about 4 inches apart or something like that.
And then you could Yonkers and Y.
then you could tilt it and pull it down and cause the teeth to tilt down, and
so you'd be able to till about 6 inches of ground then deep.
Yes.
Didn't till it, just try to level it.
Oh, it didn't really. But it broke it up though.
It broke up anything was there, and then you tried to level it. Whenever the ground is plowed, it's very uneven.
But okay, did you plow the ground?
We plowed the ground first. That's the first order of business.
I mean, but you didn't. I mean, who plowed it? You didn't have a plow.
We had a plow, but you asked if we had a disc, and we do not have
Oh,
a disc.
Okay, gotcha.
A disc is a whole different animal.
Gotcha. I know the circular discs, and then the plow. Okay, then okay. How deep does the plow go?
6 inches.
And
usually, and then it's 12-inch wide.
Okay.
And it has two plows, so you're plowing 24 inches at a time.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it rolls the material up, and turns it over.
There we are. And then you'd come back over with this
And
stakes.
what you
Gotcha.
have is uneven
Mhm.
ground.
I
And so
understand now. I was missing what you're telling me. So you plowed it and then you evened it. Okay. And did you add in the cow manure at all at that time, or did you just always bring it out all during
it
the
was
year?
out before you plowed.
Okay, and you just drilled it into the ground. So that was the main. That's one of the main ways of nutrients for the crops. Okay, that's one of the great ways. Organic gardening, they would call it these days. So, what was your strategy for your crops? For your garden crops, what strategy did you use in terms of how did you space them? What did you like to do with them?
27 inches apart, and then
For which crops?
all of them.
All of them. Oh, all the crops are 27 inches apart.
Well, because you're talking about being able to keep the weeds down, your cultivator, after the plants are planted, you run a tractor down there with little plows in between.
Oh, so you always use it all year round for this 1 acre plot. For your 1 acre garden, you always tilled it and cultivated. I mean, did it with the tractor when
Yeah.
it was small. Okay, even for tomatoes.
Yes, even for tomatoes. And then whenever the tomatoes got up to where whenever the plants got to where you had laid them lie, that's what where running the tractor over it causes the plants to be smashed down. Why? Then what they call lay it by, and the weeds, whatever weeds there, take over unless you pull them by hand.
Gotcha. And well, I remember Grandma used to always pull a lot of weeds by hand.
Well, mother worked the garden probably every day, and what she did was she hoed between the plants. You have you have between the rows is taken care of by your cultivator.
Okay.
Takes care of the weeds, and between the plants, then you have to hoe it.
Now, you made a list of plants. You want to go over the list real quick. Tomatoes. My mom said you guys usually wanted to plant like 49 tomato plants. Was that
No.
true? Do you ever remember that?
No, we planted 100. We bought a flat,
A flat.
and the flat contained 100 plants.
Okay. So I was it was a funny number that she
No.
threw out of the air. But
No,
so usually it's 100, a whole
flat.
Gotcha.
It was 100 plants in a flat. In a flat. We always bought a flat of tomatoes every year.
Where did you go to buy those flats at?
Peter's greenhouse, but then we could have bought any place. They had several greenhouses, but they were
In Carthage?
They was located half a mile north of us.
Oh, that close?
Yeah.
Wow. It wasn't there. That disappeared some time ago, didn't it? Just a half a
Well,
mile to the north of.
Yes.
Wow, I don't ever remember a greenhouse out there. But then I never tried to buy plants. Was
Well,
it?
Peter's run that for several years, and they had a truck garden system, and they provided radishes for the local grocery stores and lettuce and other things like that, and they did raise tomatoes themselves, and they had a greenhouse, and
How big a greenhouse was it? What did it look like? Was it glass greenhouse?
yeah, glass greenhouse, and I don't know what the
It was-
size was.
But you used to go down there though. That close, you must have walked down there almost.
No, I never walked down there.
No? Okay.
No, but then I had no reason to,
Gotcha. But I mean, it seemed like
Good
it's
at
pretty
walk.
close. Yeah, it seems pretty close.
that we didn't, there wasn't anybody down there that was my age, and so we
Gotcha.
never went.
Now, you've got your tomatoes from them. Did you buy other plants from the greenhouse?
Well, we bought cabbage, and we bought,
A flat of
probably-
cabbage also?
I don't think we bought a flat cabbage, but we might have, and we bought at least 50.
50 of them, quite a few. I remember you guys always had a lot of, when I was a kid, they had a lot of cabbages.
And then they had probably 50 pepper plants.
Now, what type of peppers? Were they always the sweet
Mango.
peppers, the bell, or
The mangrove peppers, and
mangro? The green ones?
big ones, yeah, about like
Okay. Why do
Well,
I
they're
call them
green.
bell?
Bell
Just
bell.
because they're shaped like a bell?
bell peppers is what they bought, and they're green only when they're not ripe. If you leave them on there long enough, they'll turn red.
Turn red, and
We always picked them green, but then they aren't. They'll turn red.
Gotcha. No. So, did you ever have any hot peppers, jalapenos, or
No.
that type of thing?
No.
Did you ever cucumbers? You did a lot of cucumbers, right?
We did cucumbers.
Other melons? Did you do pumpkin?
No.
Watermelon?
We couldn't grow watermelon.
We tried.
but we never was successful with watermelons. Ever.
You know, I was having trouble growing watermelon until I got a lot of leaf mulch. I started growing it last year in leaf mulch, and I actually grew watermelon. So surprised. It seems like they like leaf mulch from decayed leaves. So,
Well, actually, the watermelons were grown north of us in Barkin County. They grew a lot of watermelons up there, but we just didn't have good luck with watermelons.
well, I found out that watermelon likes low pHs. If you add the lime to your soil, that might have been giving watermelon some trouble. That's kind of interesting. Watermelons like the low pHs around 6, actually even below 6. At least that's what I learned this year. It's not. I'm surprised. Like I said, I've been studying gardening, so I guess I shouldn't be trying to figure out why you couldn't grow watermelon. But I know you guys grew a lot of spearmint and things. At least when I was a kid, I remember spearmint around the well.
Yeah, we had mint. That was a wild plant.
Wow. Okay.
And mint can grow wild. It was not cultivated. It was just put around the well because there's water.
Now, did you grow a lot of corn then also, or
6 rows only.
6 rows? And what type? Is it mostly sweet?
Sweet corn always.
Sweet corn.
You have to have, corn has to be at least 3 rows wide to pollinate. It won't pollinate.
Gotcha. And that's good advice. You gotta have them. You gotta have some. What about? Did you ever grow asparagus?
No.
My mom said you never grew okra. Did you grow okra? Okra. Did you guys ever
No,
grow okra?
no.
No. Okay.
We did later on.
Later on. Okay.
After the family, mother, they had kept on doing the garden,
Sure.
and we did do some okra then, but no, they didn't do okra. They was doing the stuff that went on.
Did you do cantaloupe? Did you do any other melons?
No.
Just cucumbers.
We did, cucumbers was the only thing. And
Not pumpkins?
no,
What was your favorite vegetable?
peas.
Peas. Now, did you do a lot of peas then?
We had 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, and your
Garden's 10 rows.
10 rows. Okay.
10 rows, that's 10 pounds. They found out that peas have to be sown in, unlike the instruction that says an inch apart. You sow peas.
You sow them, which means you put them in pretty thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 pounds per row, 100 feet. 10 pounds per
Wow,
row.
10 pounds per row.
I mean, a pound per 100 feet.
A pound per. Okay, so 10 pounds totally. Okay, now I heard you saying something about 10, but I didn't catch what you're meaning. So every year you guys sowed 10 pounds of peas, and you must. How much did you can? Did you can tons of peas then?
Well, the peas usually good for three pickings. About all what you get out of them. The first one's the strongest picking, and I don't remember how many cans.
If canning.
Yeah, they canned in 10.
10?
When I was home, yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, they had 10 canner, and Dad had one of the few, and we canned the corn in 10 also. Most of the canning at that time when we was all home was in 10.
Oh wow.
And they had two canners, two with crimpers that would crimp the can. You set the can in there and it'd roll around, roll the top in on the lid, and
Did you boil was it boiling hot when you put it in the can, or how did that work?
well, what you do is that you cook it some, and different crops and different things. Tomatoes are put in there, and then the last operation is you put it in a steam cooker and run it at 10 pounds for 15 minutes. And
Is that already in the can?
after it's in the can,
You steam it in the pressure cooker.
put it in the pressure cooker.
Okay,
10
just like a
pounds.
jar. Just like a jar.
Just like a jar, except the difference is when you get through with a cooker of 10, you can just throw them out. We had a wash tub out there and the cold water, well water,
Uh-huh.
and you just go out there and dump the whole thing in it immediately. You
Okay.
let your so it goes quick.
So how did you label your cans? You just
Well, they had
wrote on them?
10, sometimes they had a label they'd put on it, a paper label.
Now, did you do a lot of green beans?
No, they didn't do all the green beans.
Oh, you didn't do so many green beans. Did you do
I
any
think
type of
it was-
beans?
Yeah, they did green beans, but they did green beans, about 40 quarts, and they were canned in jars usually.
Oh, but would that be 2 rows of beans then for 40 quarts?
About 4.
4 rows of beans. Okay. I know I always like green beans.
It takes quite a few to make it.
So-
peas take a lot of acreage too.
Peas, corn. Corn was how many? 3 rows.
6 rows.
6 rows. Okay. 10 rows of peas, 6 rows of corn, maybe 2 rows of beans, or I forgot.
rows of
4
beans.
rows of beans. So we're starting to get some distance there.
Yeah. Well, you had
30.
150 feet, and you only had 30 inches of time,
Gotcha.
and
So what else did we? What did I miss? The cabbage was how many rows? 1,
one.
and then the tomatoes. 100 tomato plants. Would that be 2 rows, 3 rows?
Yeah, about 2 or 3 rows, and then what we would do too, Dad would take a package of tomato seed and hail it in, and you just throw them on the ground and dig a little hole and throw them in it.
Uh huh. So you'd also have new
And
tomatoes coming up.
And then when they got big enough to transplant, well, then we would plant those too.
Gotcha.
And actually, surprisingly enough, they'll grow just about as fast as the others. Actually,
They would catch up during the year and produce just as much, huh?
just about. They
Well,
do just about.
Is there any main vegetable that I've kind of missed in our talk? I mean, I guess I didn't talk about squash.
We didn't have squash.
Um,
Tomatoes.
we
had
talked about
spinach. We had
spin-
spinach. Spinach, carrots, lettuce, radishes.
And now the reddish, I mean, the carrots and radishes, did you do a big row of those? I mean, a
Yeah.
full 100 feet of
Yeah.
carrots? And
Radishes, yeah.
that's a lot of carrots. Did you have to thin them like crazy? I mean, how would you,
No,
how
we
would you
didn't.
plan them?
We didn't thin them.
Um,
Sometimes they'd plant them with the radishes, and then when you pulled the radish, you left
the room for the carrot.
the carrots was already there, and they just grew up.
Oh, okay, so you would put the radish seed in with the carrot seed so it would kind of thin it out?
Yeah, but then
Oh, that's-
later on, when I was down there, we just planted 2 rows of carrots, 200 feet of carrots.
That's a lot.
And, well, yeah, but then what they did, they wouldn't go. We didn't have the type of soil that where we could end up growing a big carrot. We grew what they call the baby carrots.
Right.
We bought the regular carrot, but we were taking carrots about that big, maybe sometimes. Just whatever there was. We didn't thin anything.
Gotcha. Well, I understand if you don't thin them, they're pretty small. I've had terrible success growing carrots. That's something I'm not very good at growing myself. But who knows? Maybe I'll get better at it. Well, that's amazing. Okay. Well, I think that's enough on the Jones family garden for today. In fact, it's gone pretty long. Thanks so much for your time, Uncle Floyd. Okay, love you guys. Bye-bye.